All right, James Pratt again with Twotrees Technologies. I'm here today in Arizona with some partners of ours, really good partners. From Ruckus Technology, I got Matt and Jiten. We're going to talk a little bit about Ruckus and why Twotrees highly recommends it, and we use it with a lot of our clients. So Matt, tell us a little bit about Ruckus and kind of what the secret sauce is for Ruckus. You guys have some unique wireless things.
We do. We have a lot of unique things that people don't always think of when they think of Ruckus. Really comes down to three core principles: our dedication to innovation, the flexibility for management, and lastly is obviously how we value customer service, right? Whether you're a school, a college or university, a manufacturing facility, a large venue, state and local government, we value all of our customers, small, medium, large, all the same.
Yeah. And so one of the key technologies you guys, you have some of your patents and you came from the radio world, but a really key feature that I don't know if anybody else has this, is this BeamFlex. BeamFlex. Talk about that. That's kind of a unique thing you guys have, and it's a big deal. It is a big deal. So maybe,
the story goes back to 2004. Two really smart guys. One was a physicist, one was a mathematician. They sort of invented this thing called BeamFlex, but what exactly drew them to that? That's what we're trying to get at. So what it is essentially, think about why do human beings have two ears to listen with, right?
Yeah.
Because if you close one ear, you can still hear sound. So the purpose of the second ear, as you probably know, is directionality, right? So if Matt over here talks to me from this side, this ear is going to hear that sound a little bit before this ear. So then the brain processes that and says, okay, Matt's over here, right? And then I turn and talk in his direction. So think about that technology. And so at that point in time, there was nothing like that. So these guys figured out that if they can have an AP that had multiple ears to listen with, it's going to do a better job in sending a directional signal to each device on a packet-by-packet basis. So that really is the secret sauce. They invented they have a patent on that. It's called BeamFlex, and so think of it as the Death Star. It's like, if you remember Star Wars, it's a three-dimensional antenna array. So if you're talking to a Ruckus AP from whatever direction, we know that you're there, and then we send you a directional signal by turning on and off those elements.
And what that means to clients is a lot better, clearer communications. Explain what that means to them.
So from the device side or the client side, what you're going to see is a stronger signal from a Ruckus AP, and that signal is going to be much further away. So you can have fewer APs and cover a much bigger area. You can also cover many more devices, because if each device is getting a stronger signal, they're getting on and off the network much quicker. So in the same slice of time, we can handle many more devices than any competitor.
Okay, so it's a little bit technical, but you made it sound real easy. It's easy to understand that way. So that's really a key piece of Ruckus, and that most people don't understand. They think of AP as APs, but it's not. That's one of the key features of Ruckus. So
yeah, our reputation in the industry is a leader for high-density wireless, whether it's indoor or outdoor, or that combination, where you want that seamless experience when you walk into a building from outside or vice versa, right? You're walking into a ball game, right? You need to have that connectivity to get your ticket scanned to get in the event. Yeah. Right.
And so you guys work with you work with our very own in Oklahoma. We work with our very own Paycom. You have an entire Paycom while the NBA team plays. And you have quotes about how much better the wireless experience has been since you guys do that.
Well, if you go to a game, it's nice to be able to communicate with friends and family in the arena, right? It's nice to get on Facebook and do a video, right? Especially during a big play, right? And having that seamless connectivity, right? Whether you're buying a hot dog or a soda at concessions, or if you're at courtside, or if you're at the last row up in Loud City, right? Every user should have a great wireless experience, and that's what we guarantee.
That's what you guys, that's one of your key claims to fame. Now, with our customers, but a lot of them don't have giant arenas. So a school, talk about the benefits to a school or maybe a small business. Let's talk about schools first. Explain some of the key things that make it a benefit for schools.
Yeah, so there's a couple things in a school, right? There's going to be lots of kids and lots of devices. Many schools have a BYOD program, so not only do they have a school-issued device, they have their own device. So it's become a challenge. It used to be a lot easier back in the day, but now most vendors will just say, just put an AP in every classroom, right? But with Ruckus, you don't need to do that, because when you put an AP in every classroom, the APs can actually hear each other, and if they happen to be on the same channel, that's called co-channel interference. So if an AP in classroom A can hear an AP in classroom B, and classroom B is doing a video, and it's really busy, this AP has to stutter. It has to be polite. It can't talk while this one's talking, because that would be talking over each other. So it becomes very challenging in a high-density environment when you have that many APs in close proximity. So when we do our designs, we purposefully make it so that we have, because we can do higher density with our APs, we don't need to put one in every classroom. So there's cleaner air, and the students have a much better experience.
Okay. And the other thing is the clear...
Cloudpath.
Cloudpath. I'm sorry, Cloudpath. Yeah, Cloudpath. That's really a great technology for schools that allows you, it gives you a lot of security on who can come into the school and who can have access. Instead of changing this Wi-Fi password every 6 months, you have a lot better solution for that. I wanted to cover that a little bit.
Well, the digital transformation, right, put those resources on digital devices, right? You don't see students walking around with 4 or 5 textbooks anymore.
Right, yeah.
Right? They have a
Thank God.
Chromebook
Thank
or a
goodness.
tablet.
Right.
Thank goodness.
So they have to have access to the content on those devices, right? The teacher has to make sure that they can push quizzes, push tests in a secure manner to that device. And the only way to do that is with reliable and secure wireless.
Yes.
And that's what we do.
Yes.
Right? We're very focused on that market, as well as secure networking.
Yep. But I mean, the thing I think it would be, is I don't know if it's unique, but it's something you guys really do well, is allowing to have student devices that are isolated from teachers, and you can use the students can check in as they're, as you enroll new students, you can tie all that together. You might.
I think what you're talking about is, so the way we do it is, so there's a product called Cloudpath. It was a standalone company, and where it came from was from the higher ed space. In 2015, Ruckus acquired that technology, and that's part of our portfolio today. And by the way, that still works with any other vendor's Wi-Fi or networking. But really what it does, and we have integrated that into our cloud platform as well, which is E-rate eligible, by the way.
Yes.
So the way that works is, think of it as profile-based onboarding.
Yes.
So you create profiles for each type of user that's going to be on your network, whether it's a student, a teacher, administrator, a guest, whatever, right? So what happens is, day one, somebody comes in, they hit the captive portal. It asks you, are you a student, teacher, whatever. You select what that is, right? And then what does it do? Based on your profile, it gives a certificate to your device, and then it puts you on a secure network, which then allows you to have access whenever you're in the range of that Wi-Fi. You get on there, and because of the certificate, that'll give you the ability to say, okay, for a guest, that's going to be a 24-hour certificate. For a student, maybe it's 1 semester, right?
There you go,
That kind of thing. So. But here's the cool thing about that, right? So now you know who's on your network, because you can always go and see which certificates were logged in at any given time.
Oh, great.
So if some kids come and do something in the evening, they maybe go to some inappropriate sites or whatever, you can find exactly who those kids were because of the certificate, right? And then you can bring them to the principal's office and say, hey, listen, give me your device. You don't get it for another day or two or whatever, right?
Okay, great.
So very, very cool. You know who's on your network. And then not only that, if someone leaves, like a staff member or a student, you can revoke the certificate so they can't get back on your network.
Yes.
As opposed to having a pre-shared key, which then you would have to change.
Right. Change school-wide.
And then everything, right.
And so, so that's the key I was talking about. I think it's really nice. And that integrates with what their classroom system now, correct? Like Google Classroom or Clever or something.
It integrates with any back end, but it's Active Directory. It could be the whole Google Cloud. We have a great integration with that. And really any other firewall type device as well.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the crux is onboarding devices in a secure, easy manner.
Yes.
Schools really struggle with having resources in their technology departments. So whether it's 1 person or 3 people or 5 people, they have very limited time.
Yes.
So if you can set it up right the first time, and it's not complex to manage, it really makes their day.
Yeah.
And students love it because it works, right? They don't have to manage passwords every 30, 60, or 90 days.
Yeah.
So we take the complexity out, and we enhance the security.
Yes. Okay. Great. I love that. That's fantastic. I was talking a little bit about other than schools, like a manufacturing facility or something. I mean, you guys have that's another really good with the IoT. Can you talk a little bit about how that benefits them?
Yeah, absolutely. So so today APs have come a long way. Access points, right? So within an access point, of course, there's the radios that support client devices. But we also have radios in our APs today that support Bluetooth Low Energy or Zigbee or the new Matter standard with Thread. So what does that mean? That just means that instead of having multiple gateways from each vendor, whether you have smart locks or lighting or smart blinds or thermostats or anything like that, you can basically, if you were to do that, if you wanted to have all those different things and then have rules to say that if this door opens, turn on those lights and change the thermostat to 72, you would have to go to each vendor, have a little gateway device wired throughout the network in order for those signals to propagate back to a rules engine, right? Yep. So today what we're offering is a way to bring it all together and just have a single AP be the gateway, so you don't have to have the complexity of shadow networks throughout your to implement IoT.
So at my home, I have a lot of automation with doorbells and garage doors and all that kind of stuff, and I have those gateways that convert those systems over to what I need, and you guys have that built right into your radio.
Right, so and and so we're bringing that into our Ruckus Cloud. That's the next phase of our technology. So it'll be a single pane of glass to manage the switches, the APs. You have the profile-based onboarding built in. We have something else called AI analytics, and I can talk about that in a second. And then the last piece is going to be the IoT functionality. So you'll have a single pane of glass to manage your devices, but also your smart building or whatever. You can do asset tracking. There's different use cases of what might be needed. So in a manufacturing facility, they may want to do tracking of devices through their facility,
or tracking of pallets,
or tracking pallets, or anything like that. So it'll make it very easy to implement that.
Yeah, one of the reasons we excel in difficult environments like manufacturing, warehouses, is BeamFlex.
Yes.
Right. There's so much steel. Right. Oftentimes you have to shoot a signal down. A huge walkway, right? We're one of the few vendors that can accomplish that because of BeamFlex.
Yeah.
And again, we do a true design, right, with one of our engineers. So we make sure what is proposed is going to work.
Yes.
And then we go in after the fact and do testing.
Great.
Validation.
So it's consistency from pre-sales all the way through post-sales.
Great. Excellent. And you touched on AI. Let's cover. Of course, that's a big buzzword. Everybody's talking about AI, and but that's because it's a big deal. It's really important. So we're going to cover that AI. What you guys do with AI right now?
Yeah. So again, machine learning AI, right? It starts with machine learning, but what does that mean? So we have this agent that effectively looks at your network like some 24/7 individual that you may have to hire to do that, right? So you don't need to do that. This will do it for you. So what does it do? It monitors the network. It figures out the way it works, like how much traffic on a given day. It starts getting all that information. And then what it'll do is it'll start finding issues in the network. In some cases, you won't have any issues, but nine times out of 10, you're going to have some issues where maybe maybe you have a PoE switch that's connected to an AP that's only providing 15 watts of power. The AP actually might need 30 or more. So it's going to tell you that, hey, listen, the AP is still functioning, but it's functioning with low power in a degraded mode. So you're not getting the full functionality out of it. So it's maybe that'll be a P3 incident. So it'll prioritize the incidents based on severity. So a P1 incident might be, hey, yesterday you had 30 devices that couldn't connect for an hour. Or something like that, because this AP kept rebooting. It'll give you a full root cause analysis and what you could do to fix it.
And so that's great for schools or even small, medium-sized businesses that maybe doesn't have a network expert around that needs to decipher those things, but gives you the tools, not only what's wrong, but some suggestions on how to fix it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, in a K-12 environment, if you're the tech coordinator and you get a reported issue, 9 times out of 10, you're going to have to walk all the way to the other side of the school or maybe another building to go take a look and see what's happening. With Ruckus Analytics, that person can stay at their desk, log in, and get real-time information about what's happening.
With suggestions on how to fix it.
Exactly.
And that feature is called service validation. Essentially, it makes it takes one AP as the client. Let's say it's classroom A in building B, right? Has an issue. You don't have to walk over there. You can make that AP a client, and then you can do some testing with that AP in the area to see, hey, how's the traffic? Am I able to log in? Is the authentication working?
Okay.
You don't have to go there and do that physically.
So it's not like instead of me going over there with an iPhone doing my own testing, I just make that other AP test this AP as a client.
You got it.
Exactly, through the air.
Excellent. That's cool.
How's
That's
it
cool. I've
working?
never heard of that before. That's good.
Yeah, and AI, right? You think, oh, it's going to take over everything. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Right? You work with a Ruckus engineer, you work with a Twotrees engineer, explain the settings, and if they want to give AI the permission to do some efficiencies and things like that, it'll do it. But again, it requires human intervention to set it up the way that IT wants to manage it.
Yeah,
right?
Great. So those are just a few of the reasons Twotrees is really involved with Ruckus. We do a lot of business with them, recommend a lot of Ruckus sites. So I appreciate you guys' time. That was wonderful. And if you need more information about your wireless, it's best to get us involved early so we can do the designs. Because again, if you get early on the designs, you can sometimes save, or often save, a lot of money by not having to put quite so many APs in. And so get with us and we can hook you up. Any of your Twotrees reps can help you out.
Yeah, plus you have a great Ruckus team.
Yeah, we do.
We're here to help you guys.
Got these cool shirts. So. All right, thanks.
Thank you.